It's so easy to forget hope in our everyday life, going to work and being caught up in the rat race, because hope lives in stillness, in touching grass, some might say. And when we're too busy, caught up in everyday life to remember this, we'll no longer remember hope. I see online a lot how nihilistic people are, and how little hope there is in the world, right? Which, as a Gen Zer, I get it heavily, right? It's a little bleak out here, to say the least, World War III, the fact that our generation probably won't be able to retire given the current state of the world, if nothing changes, that's where we're heading. So we're facing working till we die, really encroaching dictatorship from either the Republicans or the Democrats. There's a lot of things wrong with the world, and I see a lot of sentiment that, hey, like, why wasn't I born at a more peaceful time? Wouldn't that be nice, right? Wouldn't that be nice? But that's not how things work, right? Great change has always been inevitable, right? And humans, for more often than not, haven't lived in such a dramatically peaceful time. I want to look to the past on revolutionary leaders, right, who've actually been able to change things, right? Now, I don't think we'll be able to stop necessarily a dictatorship from coming, or stop climate change because it's already begun, or even I don't think we'll be able to actually stop a dictatorship coming, or stop climate change, or save the economy, right? We're certainly not going to do it by voting, but there's police outside as I speak, bugging my neighbors. Change is possible, right? There's hella police outside, what the hell? Anyway, change is possible, right? There's been revolutionary leaders who have faced way worse odds. And those leaders who fought for us, right? Like civil rights leaders, the Panthers, American communists and union leaders who got us the weekend, the odds that they faced were just as scary. So why is it that we as a generation can sit down and die? I often think that it's the phones, right? It makes it really easy to just kind of take life idly by and just accept defeat, because you can doom scroll on TikTok for 8 hours straight. I'm part of a working class organization that's actually trying to organize for these sort of things, for justice and for ending wars and for feeding our communities and educating our communities and teaching our communities self-defense. I've been on the ground and I've seen the sentiment of change that people want. You can't tell me that people don't want change. It's obvious, and I know if you're watching this, you see this too. The most important thing I have learned is that the masses are capable of the most astonishing feats if they are informed, guided, and provided with the necessary tools. That's George Jackson, who is the GOAT. That dude was put in jail for 11 years, with 7 of them in solitary confinement, and he's still organized. He still had hope for the people to rise up. He still had hope, and hope is what's most important now. Accepting defeat and just saying nothing ever happens is a cry for help. That nothing ever happens meme is a cry for something to happen. But the trick is we have to make something happen. The revolution isn't an apple that falls when it is ripe. You have to make it fall. That's from Che. Now, I said earlier, I don't think we can actually prevent a incoming dictatorship or climate change from ruining the earth, or the economy from making us all jobless and broke, or even a world war. So you might ask yourself, okay, you acknowledge that you can't change those things, but what's the point then? Well, the point is to build a foundation. We need a foundation for a new society that eventually will pick itself up after. I've been playing a lot of Death Stranding 2, and that's exactly what that game is about. It's about rebuilding. It's about building infrastructure and connecting people. And that's the sort of mindset that we need. We need to connect people again. We live so isolated and hopeless. And if we stay isolated and hopeless, we're just gonna die. But that connection between people will build us up. Even if you're just someone who knows how to make pizza, or if you are a construction worker. We can't let the people who start wars in the Middle East define how valuable human life is, because every single one is valuable. Give light and people will find a way. I have a lifelong devotion to freedom and justice. And I also have a devotion to art. And the reason I'm so attracted to art is because of its revolutionary potential. Like I mentioned, Death Stranding infused me with so much optimism, because the conditions of that world are even more dire than what we have going on. A people's art is the genesis of their freedom. That's from Claudia Jones, who was an American communist. I desire to inspire hope and optimism in everyday lives, because the people are ready for change more than we even think. Yes, even the people that you may disagree with. Yes, even the people that might seem problematic. And yes, even people that might seem that they're the enemy. If you're working class, your natural interest will be for the working class. One thing that helps is stepping outside, for sure. It's a beautiful sunny day in Florida. Being the type of organizer to actually step outside and touch grass is huge in feeling better about the world, right? A lot of the left today just spends their time tweeting, right? Which is something that is extremely necessary. But we also need to talk to the people. We need to be out and interacting with our neighbors. That organization I'm part of has a community farm. We invite members of the community out to learn and to meet us and to talk about politics and the state of the world, and to inspire people to actually do things. Because what's the point if not? And we do end up having a lot of people come out. We make sure to be in the community so much that local politicians can't help but notice us, and they actually talk to us. Now, in reality, they don't actually give a shit about what we're asking for, but pointing out that they don't give a shit is actually the goal. Because then we show up in the communities and they remember us out there in the streets and actually recognize us as leaders. It's a slow, little by little process. Discipline is huge in affecting change in your community. The discipline to show up and be better, and to stand as a leader for your people. It takes a lot out of me, because I would love to just spend 12 hours a day playing video games, but I have to set my ego aside and actually do the work. And I'm talking about the boring, tedious work, like writing documents and talking to people, and a lot of writing. But knowing the goal helps me through. Knowing the mission makes the tedious work entertaining. If we want a better world, we don't have much of an option. So it's either I show up, we show people the reality of the world, we show people that a more just world is possible, or I spend 8 hours on TikTok dying and killing my brain and killing any sort of purpose. That's why I value art too, is because that discipline transfers over there as well. Many artists today, they don't even talk about the state of the world. And if they do, it's just normal stuff that we've heard before. But I think the best art is revolutionary and shows that change is possible. And I mean true change, independent change, away from the current systems. One of my favorite artists is Nina Simone. She was an incredible civil rights activist. And at the time, she risked her career to talk about the lynchings in Mississippi. That's how you get long-lasting change. You know, I get what Jill Scott Heron was saying about the revolution won't be televised. He was talking about a revolution in the mind first, which we need to explore. But in reality, he was kind of wrong, because now revolutionary aesthetics are televised, yet they push us to accept the status quo. You can't call that revolutionary art if it's just talking about the same things. And we live in a world now where art can be spread across the entire world. I think it's time that we return to that era of truly revolutionary art. Nina Simone, Jill Scott Heron, James Baldwin. Because artists naturally want to be revolutionary, but you can't be revolutionary if you're not putting down something new. And it's time for us to hear something new.